The problem we got today. Find the volume bounded by that curve z equals e to the negative x negative y on this domain. So here's what we mean. We've got some kind of a three-dimensional surface and it bounds a volume, and we got to find how much that volume is over this region. So yeah, let's go. Let's set up our integrals. So here is we don't need to draw a picture since we know the bounds already. These are our x bounds. These are our y bounds. So let's go ahead and write our integral. So here's our double integral, right? And does it matter if we do dy dx? No, it doesn't matter. Let's just put in e to the negative x, e to the negative y, and I'm just gonna put dy dx. Okay, dy. Oh god, that's one pretty bad dy. Dy dx, and of course my y bounds are from 0 to infinity. My x bounds are from 1 to infinity. So what do I do now? So here at this point I'm gonna start thinking about the inner integral. So how do I compute this in particular? How do I compute this inner integral? Note that it's an improper integral. One of the limits of integration is infinity. So what I'm going to do right here is separate these two. Okay, I'm going to make this, instead of e to the negative x minus y, I'm going to make it two separate exponents like this. So e to the negative x and then e to the negative y. Okay, that wasn't so bad. Now what do? I'm going to go ahead and write another integral. I'm going to write the double integral from 1 to infinity. And now I'm going to use some u substitution here, right? So I'm going to say that u is equal to e to the negative y, or actually you can make u equal to negative y, so that du is equal to negative dy. So negative du equals dy. And so now I can just plug that back in, right? I can say e to the negative x. Okay, whoops, I'm getting all mixed up with my colors. E to the negative x times e to the negative y, but of course negative y is u. So e to the u, instead of putting dy, I'll put negative du. And now you'll see everything starts to make sense, right? I can take this e to the u, right? And of course e to the u du is just e to the u. So this right here is just going to become minus e to the u. Okay, evaluated from 1 to infinity. But of course u, remember, is negative y. So let's pop that back in. So this becomes negative y. And don't forget about this e to the negative x. E to the negative x, that's being multiplied by this. Okay, and of course we're now integrating with respect to x on the outside, and we should note as such. So now what do we have here? We're gonna have, if we plug in the y here, let's see what we get. So first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna bring all of this over here, I'm gonna bring all of the mess over here. Let's put a border. Okay, so I'll have the integral from 1 to infinity. Okay, and I'll have e to the negative x, times, yikes, that's a bad negative x. So I'll make it nice. E to the negative x times minus e to the negative y. So my first y is going to be negative infinity minus e to the 1. Okay, and of course we're doing all of this. We're going to put dx at the end. Okay, so now what do we have? Well, e to the negative infinity, well, we solved that one before. I think this should be 0, so this should be 1, and this was correct. This should also be 1. what do I have now? Well, this right here just becomes minus e to the negative x from x equals 1 to infinity. So I'll have minus e to the negative infinity plus e to the 1. And this, of course, this part of the results goes to 0. And so we're left with e to the minus 1. And that's, of course, going to be 1 over e. Alright, folks, that's our final answer. Thanks for watching. Check you out next time.
Alright, now. Ambition plus MKO plus scaffolding equal learning. We believe anyone can learn anything. That's why our motto is memorization is a crime. And that's why we partnered with Brilliant.
Brilliant transforms math and science into hands-on activities so that you too can understand everything from first grade math to E equals MC squared. Barry Science Lab and Brilliant is your MKO and will give you the scaffolding to expand your ZPD until you become the next Sir Isaac Newton or Albert Einstein.
Visit brilliant.org/Barry Science Lab today. And the first 50 of you to use that link will get a 20% discount on the Brilliant annual subscription.
Don't forget that you too can become the next Einstein. So let's fall in love with math and science.